Whenever you are. Recording it started.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. This is Darin Kidd. I hope everyone is having a great week. And I'm excited to share some information with you tonight that absolutely can impact not only your business, but your life. And so I'd encourage you to, make sure you have pen and paper handy. Do not trust your fortune to your memory. And you want to be able to go back and continue to review this information, because you can review the same information a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. And the information doesn't change, but you are changing as you're growing. So I want to welcome everyone. And for all the brand new people, once again, my name is Darin Kidd. And, I failed for 7 solid years in the profession, and finally had the right people that taught me what to do, what not to do, that changed everything. And so I'm excited to come in and work with all of you and help, shorten your learning curve, teach you some things that actually took me 28 years to learn. So I don't want you having to go through decades to learn some of those things. So really, we can take decades and shave a lot of time off your learning curve within the time that we have together. So I appreciate everybody saying hello in the chat. I see we got people from North Carolina. Hey, Deanna, Bethany. All right, welcome. We got Valerie from New Jersey. That's awesome. And do me a favor, as we're going through the training, when you get an aha moment, I would love for you to maybe just drop a quick little note in the comments like, man, that hit home. That is exactly what I needed to hear. Because one thing it does, it keeps you active. And I would encourage you to try to, change your state while you're listening to this. So, try to sit up straight. And, if you can participate, even though I can't see you, maybe you can do some head bobs, some thumbs up, things like that. Maybe put a few comments, because, Jim Quick, who is the guy, he wrote a book called Limitless. He was the guy that at 5 years old, he's the kid with the broken brain because he had a brain injury and he had a hard time learning. It took him several additional years to learn how to read. Now he trains all over the world, even, famous actors and actresses on, how to speed read and memorize things. He can memorize 1,000 people's names. And he says, if your body is moving, your brain is grooving. Okay, so I want your brain grooving and I want your body moving as much as you can, just being on a Zoom. All right, so let's go. I want to start tonight with talking about something, because I was at the corporate office here the last couple of days. And let me just tell you, if you're not excited, or I know you're excited, you should be more excited, because the company they've got a lot of phenomenal things planned to go out there and help support you and your organization get to where you want to be faster. And that's really the heart of the company. And that's one thing that attracted me to the company, that caused me to reach out to them, because I'm like, you know what? This is a company that really cares about their advocates. They have a heart for the people, and I like to work with people that I like. So you're very blessed to have that leadership. And this morning I said, hey, any local PFs that want to get together, we'll wear a mask, we can social distance. And we got together and we did some training, for a couple hours. And Sterling stopped by and said, hey, and Meredith stopped by and hung out with us for a while. And we just had a great time. But I trained on some things and talked about some things that made a huge difference in my life, that they're like, hey, maybe could you share some of that with the field tonight before we go into some of the training on the business building principles? And I said, you know what? Absolutely. Because if you listen to people like Tony Robbins, whose companies do billions of dollars a year, not only has he coached and helped presidents of the United States, but actors and actresses and famous athletes. He talks about, when it comes to winning and success, 80+% is psychology. It's your mindset. It's your attitude. And that was the thing that I used to say, skip that stuff and tell me the how-tos. But it's not the how-tos. It's how you do the how-tos. Now, yes, you want to learn the skills, and we're going to talk about those things. But if your mindset and your attitude are not where they should be, nothing works the same, And so that's where I want to help you with. So remember, you are the CEO of You Inc., Y-O-U. So you're the CEO of You Inc. The great news is you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So really, you could say, hey, look, Darin, I'm just going to work this business 1 day a month. That is your choice. You could say, hey, I'm going to take off for an entire month. That is your choice. You can say, hey, look, I just want to make a little bit of extra money. I'm here. I have all the money that I need. It's really not about the money. I just want to have fun. We got some people go, look, my money doesn't drive me, but making an impact and helping other people drives me. So you can do whatever you want to do, go as slow as fast as you want to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to download a lot of information in a short period of time, because I want to get through this. And it's some life-changing information. And another beautiful thing about this business, it doesn't just affect your business. It affects every aspect of your life. If it wasn't for network marketing, my health would not be what it is, right? Like I was going down a bad path, and because of network marketing, the personal development and learning the things that affected my health, it affected me, hopefully I'm a better husband, being a better dad. My children have grown up around personal development and learning people skills and having a positive mindset, a PMA, a positive mental attitude. And so it's really affected our entire family in every aspect: spiritual, physical, social, financial. And what I want to do is talk to you about the things that we're going through right now in the world, right? And I'm just going to tell you, I mean, we know we've had the COVID, we've had the quarantine, we've had the riots, we've had, all kinds of crazy stuff. You do not have to search out negativity. Negativity searches us out. So really what we have to do is we have to be good at blocking the negativity and fueling the positivity. And with, now they're saying like schools may not open back up and, things like that. Well, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine yesterday, and I had to stop him. I'm like, listen, man, can I coach you for a second? I go, as a friend, I care about you and I want to help you. And he's like, absolutely. And I go, we need to focus on not where we've been. Okay. Don't look back unless you want to go that way. We have to focus on moving forward, and we have to ask ourselves the right questions and have the right attitude, because if not, right, what you focus on grows. If you're focusing on the problems, it's going to grow. If you focus on the solution, right, not saying, man, why do bad things always happen? And I can't do this and I can't do that. So all of us as a company, you want to focus on where you're going, not where you've been. You want to focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. And when it comes to, here's just something simple that you can change, right? Because your thoughts and your words are powerful. Like your words and your thoughts are really, when you speak something, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So instead of saying something like, man, I've got to homeschool my kids. Why not change it to, man, I get to homeschool my kids, right? And don't get me wrong, right? Like I'm sitting here going, man, homeschooling, all the teachers that said my kids were a pleasure to have in their class, they lied. Anybody else agree with that? I'm just kidding. I know we've all got great kids, right? But man, they can have fun at school, right? Can't wait till it opens back up. But instead of I've got to go to the gym, I get to go to the gym. And I have learned over the last couple of years, I won't share all the crazy things that I've been through, but I went through 3 surgeries in a few months, had appendicitis, almost died, and 13 days in the hospital with my stomach shutting down. And, went from almost 200 pounds to 170. My appendix had turned gangrene, and it was leaking into my body, and I didn't know it. And so what happened was, I remember 13 days in the hospital, looking out the window and go, man, people don't know how blessed they are to walk across that parking lot. I can't leave this room, right? Man, they don't know how blessed they are to be able to get fresh air and go eat wherever they want to go eat. There's always things to be grateful for. And if you want to know how to get rid of negativity, how to get rid of fear, gratitude is a great eraser. It's hard to be fearful. It's hard to be negative. And so it's really changed. The last couple of years, I've learned to really, I'm a positive, I can beat up negative really quick. I'm really good at getting rid of negativity. So I used to go, man, kids are so loud. Man, what did I tell you? Be quiet. Now I'm like, you know what? I've got some friends of mine right now whose children are battling cancer. Thank God my kids are healthy enough to yell and scream and get on my nerves. So it's all about perspective. So let's focus on what we can do, not focus on what we can do. Let's focus on the solution. Let's don't focus on the problems. And when you really start studying, I want to share with you some science, because I had a mentor of mine that was a billionaire, but that's not as impressive as he paid for 1,000 kids a year to go to college. He gave away $400 million to charity. And even though he passed away at 80 some years old, over a decade ago, he had it set up where it's still doing those things today, right? And I remember he would say things and I didn't understand. I don't know if he understood the science. He just knew that it worked because he had 40 companies in 60 countries that did billions of dollars in revenue. And by the way, for those of you who know that David Bird, he was the president of Paul J. Meyer, one of his international divisions of his company. And he would say things like, look, we magnetize the condition we seek. We magnetize the condition that we seek. What we think about, we truly do bring about. Thoughts are things. When you speak something, the tongue only weighs a few ounces, but it can be a weapon, right? It can do great things or it can do really bad things. When I started studying the brain and like next level growth and next level achievement, and if you just stick with me, I promise you, this can impact your life and your children's, your grandchildren, everyone around you. We think 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day. 90% of the same thoughts we think today are the same ones that we thought yesterday. By the time you're 35, we're almost like a programmed robot. And here's what's fascinating. Our brain does not know the difference in reality and what we actually tell it. So when you think a thought and you visualize something in your mind, good or bad, your brain doesn't know the difference. It actually encodes it as a memory. And then it produces the same chemicals and endorphins as if that experience actually happened. Have you ever woken up from a dream and it was so real, like it upset your whole day, or whatever it may have been, right? And so you start producing the same chemicals and endorphins. So if you think about it, you can actually experience an experience before you ever experience it. And then we move in the direction of our expectations. We move in the direction of things that we're comfortable and familiar with. When you think about the goal, and again, there's all kinds of science behind this. This is not Darin Kidd. I'm not that smart. And so when your brain also wants to be right. And there's a thing called the reticular activating system. I'm only going to go into this a little bit more, called the RAS, the reticular activating system, RAS for short. And if you think about it, it's a filter that allows things in and blocks certain things. And your brain was designed to keep most of the things out. So if you're sitting at Starbucks and you paid attention to every conversation, every noise, it would drive you crazy. If you're looking at a Facebook page, when you go after this, look at a Facebook page and look at everything on the page. You will see things you've never seen before because your brain is designed to block most of the things out, and you have to tell it what you're looking for. So we're at a Tony Robbins event, and he goes, look, close your eyes and look for things that are red. When you open them, go, count. How many? And we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, close them. And he said, how many blue things did you see? And I'm like, you didn't say look for blue. You said look for red. That's what you have to do with your mind. Have you ever noticed or not noticed how many cars, let me know in the comments, have you ever not noticed how many cars are on the road like the one you bought until you bought it? They were there before, right? They were there before, but it's the awareness. I was telling the PFs today in the meeting, I'm like, hey, you know what? This years ago, I was at St. Pete Beach. My wife and kids and I went on this little dinner cruise with my old iPhone. I took a picture. It was beautiful, going under a bridge with the sunset. And this Salt Life, I'd never heard of them, believe it or not, back then, years ago. I'm like, who is Salt Life? They tagged me. They used my picture. They put my name on it. And I went and looked them up, and I'm like, how in the world do I not know who Salt Life is? When I left the coffee shop, here's the crazy thing. I saw a Salt Life sticker on the back of a Jeep. And then I saw somebody wearing a hat. And then I saw it everywhere after that. So you have to tell your mind, when you set goals and you visualize an experience, you visualize that rank you want to achieve. You visualize the feelings, that how it's going to feel when you achieve that rank, when you achieve that income, when you eliminate that credit card debt, when you give money to that charity, when you give money to that church. Okay, when you do that, then what happens, your brain, it wants to be right. So it's looking for things to help fulfill what you're thinking and what you're speaking. Let me know if that's making sense, right? It's called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. So it's very important that you think about what you think about. So here's what I would challenge you to do. What questions are you asking yourself? What are your patterns of thought? What are your patterns of speaking? I used to say things like, I can't afford it. Well, then what happens, your subconscious, if you're thinking 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day, we all are, your subconscious mind makes more decisions than your conscious mind. Isn't that crazy? So if you go, I can't afford it, and your brain wants to be right, it goes, let me look through all the subconscious folders, throw into your conscious mind, here are all the reasons you can't afford it. Well, I can't recruit. I can't get any customers. Here are all the reasons that you can't. Instead, go, how can I recruit? How can I afford it? How can I make a bigger impact? How can I help more people with their products? How can I help more families financially with their business opportunity? Is that making sense, or is it just me? So I want you to think about what you're thinking about. And let me tell you something else, the power of positive thinking. I remember hearing him say, listen, well, let me back it up one more time. There was a gentleman that I was listening to that is one of the top next level growth experts and brain health experts in the world. And he talked about when he trains these athletes and these teams, when he explains to them a negative thought is 4 to 7 times more powerful than a positive. Okay, a negative thought. But when you verbalize it, when you speak it, it multiplies it by 10. So that means it's a 40 to 70 times more likelihood it's going to happen when you verbalize it. What does it say? You don't have to believe what I believe, but in the Bible, as you know, it talks about the power of the tongue, right? What you think about, you truly do bring about. Let me ask you this in the comments. Have you ever known someone say this, like, man, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. If anything bad's going to happen, it's going to happen in me. And you're like, holy moly, it's true. Like, you are a magnet for bad luck. And because what they do is they search it out. And when you look at the science behind it, we get addicted to our own drugs. So if we're addicted to drama, every time there's no drama, we will find a way to create drama and negativity, because what happens is what produces those chemicals and endorphins, and we get addicted to our own drugs. But then there's other people, like the billionaire Paul J. Meyer, who would say this. This is one of my favorite affirmations. The world is conspiring to do me good. The world is conspiring to do me good. Like, man, and when you wake up with an attitude of gratitude, and you're like, man, what great things are going to happen in my life today? Hey, you know what? This too shall pass. Yeah, we got to homeschool the kids. It's jacking up our schedule a little bit. But you know what? There's going to come a day we would have wished we had more time with our kids. There's going to come a day they're so busy, we wish they weren't aggravating us, right? So this is a blessing in disguise. When we learn and look at, man, obstacles lead to elevation, right? Obstacles lead to elevation. There is no elevation without obstacles. And when it comes to the business, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the paycheck. So just a challenge. Here's my challenge to each and every one of you. For the rest of this month, no negativity, right? And have some fun with each other. I had some fun with some PFs, talking to them. They're like, oh, I'm terrible at doing this, right? Oh, no. How about I'm getting better every day? I used to say, hey, dang it, I can't remember that. Well, your brain wants to be right, and I couldn't remember it. Instead, now I go, wait, it'll come to me in just a minute. It'll come back to me, and it does. So just watch pay attention to what you speak. Pay attention to what you think. Block the negative. I do not get up anymore. I used to get up and watch bad Morning America. I don't do that, right? It's not Good Morning America. It's bad. If it bleeds, it leads. So when I get up, real quick, last thing, let me know if this is making sense. I'm getting better every day. Yep, in every way. So when I get up in the morning, here's at first you create your rituals and your habits, then your habits create you. What I do is I get up in the morning, and before my feet hit the floor, I have continued to work my mind. You have to work your mind like you work your muscles in the gym. It takes 10,000 reps to teach self-defense, to where when someone tries to attack you or rob you or hurt you, you automatically defend yourself. Because I've done martial arts my whole life. And an MMA fighter, UFC fighter, said, Darin, it's actually 10,000 reps. You have to rep your mind like you rep your muscles. Don't worry, you're not going to get it overnight. You have to continue to do it every single day. The latest research shows that to really seal in a new habit, it's 66 to 365 days. So don't worry about perfection, worry about progress. Can you get a little bit better today than you were yesterday? So think about what you're thinking about. Be very careful of your language patterns, right? And so I get up and I have attitude of gratitude. I do my meditation, I do my devotions, and instead of me looking at social media, which immediately gets me in a different state, a bad state, first thing in the morning, what I do is I put on some podcast. I put on Rick Warren, who wrote The Purpose-Driven Life. I listen to one of his messages. That's the way I start my day. And then before I go to bed at night, I know that what I read, what I listen to, and what I watch, I'm going to marinate on for the next 6 to 8 hours while I sleep. So if I can control the beginning of the day and the end of the day, I can control what happens in the middle of the day. And you may go, you know what, Darin, let's just get to the business stuff. I promise you, if you control this, okay, I'm going to show you how far you are away. How many of you want to see the distance you are from your dreams? I can show you the exact distance. How many of you want to see that? Mindset is the business of success. All right, here it is. Here it is. I want you to do this, and I want you to do this. Your attitude will determine your altitude. What you have to see it here before you ever see it in reality. So think about what you're thinking about. Think about what you're speaking about. Be very careful. Pay attention to what you're letting come into your ears, into your eyes. Guard the portals of your mind, is what Paul Meyer used to say. Guard the portals of your mind. And then last but not least, before we go into the business side, who are you associating with? Right? I mean, the next 5 months plus, we only got less than 5.5 months of 2020. Some of you are like, thank goodness, but the next 5.5 months, you can set your family up for the rest of your life. Some of you will do that. Some of you will be like, Darin, it's just me. I don't care. In the next 5.5 months, you have the ability to look back and not recognize your life if you're willing to work, to be honest with you, right? You have that ability. Where was I going with that? I don't know, but it's exciting because you are in the right place. You got a company with phenomenal products, great leadership. We just got to go do the work. And every Olympic athlete, every professional athlete, every entrepreneur, successful entrepreneur goes through a season of sacrifice. So this is where you have to decide what you really want. Because for me, I'm like, you know what? Working a job, and by the way, don't bash jobs to prospects. That's not going to make them more receptive to what you do, right? But I'm just telling all of you, because you're already in the company, I knew my job was hard, and I knew I was never going to get the lifestyle that I wanted for my family, ever. But like, if that's hard, building a business is hard, choose your hard. But the rewards and the results from what we can do over here are so great. So I don't mind doing for a short period of time what most won't do to have a life that most will never have. And by the way, if your advocates, if your team is not watching this, and you're like, oh my gosh, because I don't know about you, I wish I would have heard this stuff many years ago. I have never understood the power of what every day I fuel. Let me say something. I don't engage in negativity. I don't engage in the political talks. I don't sit there and scroll through the scroll hole of Facebook. When that's not going to get us to where we want. And who you associate with. That was the last point. I'm sorry. I told you I would remember it. The who you associate with. You show me your closest friends, I will show you your future. They're like an elevator. They lift you up or they bring you down. And misery loves company. So when you go out and you start putting your head above the crowd, they're going to take swings at you. And a lot of times subconsciously, they're telling you negative things because they feel bad because you're willing to do something they're not willing to do. And here's the way and you're going to have people that go, man, you're crazy. Can't believe you're doing that little home-based business thing. That's okay. Vision is seeing it before the masses see it. But here's the key to life. If you never want anybody to say anything about you, here's the key. I'll give it to you right now. Don't have anything, do anything, or be anything. Live a life of insignificance. That's how you have no one talk about you. But I don't know about you. Dogs don't bark at a parked car. I'm going to go out there and do as much as I can to help as many people as I can, as long as I can. So with that said, let's get to business. All right. Let's go into the Blitz. How many of you are enjoying the Blitz so far? Now, I know we have new people that are joining us every week, so let me recap. And it's spaced repetition. If you listen to any of the top brain health trainers and experts and Tony Robbins, they go, you know what? The only way you change your world is by immersion. Like, you have to saturate your brain with the right things. What you read, what you listen to, who you associate with. So you're going to hear me repeat a lot of things. When I asked the billionaire, Paul Meyer, how do I get my little organization back years ago to get it? Like, I keep saying it. Here's what he said. You say the same simple things, so simple that a child could understand, so many times until they say, I'm sick of hearing you say it. And then you know they're starting to get it, So if you go, hey, I know what Darin's going to say before he says it sometimes, that's awesome, right? That's what you want. When it comes to building a business, learning how to get customers and get customer getters, the simple things create your success. Fancy halts your success. The enemy of execution, right, or the enemy of execution is, I'm wording that wrong. Okay. The enemy, hold on a second. Complexity is the enemy of execution. There we go. See, you know what? I stumble too. We all stumble. So the enemy of execution, complexity is the enemy of execution. You want to keep it very simple, very basic. Takes a genius to keep it simple. So the blitzes, when majority of your people and you, they're happy starting out making $500 a month, 80%. Remember that, 80%. Only 15% want to make maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And this is not coming from me. This is coming from a gentleman that's no longer in the industry, but he made 80 million when he was in the industry. 15%, $2,000 to $3,000. Less than 5% want to make the big money. Most top money earners did not come in. You know how many PFs I've talked to recently going, I just started out wanting to make a car payment. And oh my gosh, it's changed our world. It's changed our life. Man, I never could see myself doing what I'm doing now. That's going to be a lot of stories. So remember to keep it very simple, very basic. We have to remember the part-time story is powerful. Most people don't want to run a marathon, but we give them simple things on a weekly basis that compound. The next thing you know, they run a marathon, but they didn't mean to run a marathon. That's why the blitz is so important. But here's another key to the blitz. It's easy to get excited when we paint the picture going, look, 90 days can completely change your world. If you work, you can look back and go, I cannot believe what has happened in the last 90 days. But most people get excited for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then it's just a curve. It's like this. So when you look at the compound effect, it's doing these things every week. And they seem to make no difference at all. You're doing them. One of your best friends is not doing them. Your business looks identical. But over the next few months, your business does this, their business does that. So I just wanted to remind you, don't worry about the results. We just want to make sure you're doing the right activities. The results will come. Even if you hadn't done the last couple weeks, it's okay. You can start this week. You're not penalized. And when we give you the minimums, that doesn't have to be your maximum. So the reason you give them a blitz, it gives somebody something simple to focus on. A confused mind does nothing. So the first week we did the ATM blitz. And we go, look, what if you did 5 a day? That's our challenge, 5 a day. You could do more, and you could do more than 5 days. But can you at least do 5? If you watch the page, it went up and up and up and up. So if you did that the first week, you got 25 minimum exposures. You moved the needle. Awesome job. How many times was the story shared about the Green Compass products and the Green Compass opportunity on your behalf through that page? Now you basically got real estate in that group. The more people you put in, the more real estate you have, the more stock you own in that group, and they're getting exposed for you by being a part of that group, and they're seeing stories and testimonials. Then last week we did the watch parties. Doesn't take long at all to do a watch party. So you saw that Sarah did an amazing video. We told you what a watch party was, how to do it, what to do afterwards. If you look, the video within, 72 hours had 20,000 views. So if you did 2 watch parties, you may have had another 10, 20, 30 people or more. Now, if you have an organization and you have an army of people doing these same things, what if you had 10 people the first week? That's 250 exposures plus yours. What if you had 10 people do a watch party and each one had 10 people? That's 100 exposures. This is just an addition to what you're doing. We're trying to show you things that are simple, that leverage your time, energy, and efforts. So when part of your training, when you introduce someone to the products or the business, you want to write this down, going, listen, all I do is get people to do what I'm doing with you. So if you happen to be interested, just so you know, all I do is I'm doing what I'm doing with you. All I do is get people to watch a video. All I do is get people and add them to this group, tag them in a video, and message them and let them know that I did that. All right, is that making sense? Let me know if that's making sense. The other thing is that you want to lead by example. Before I give you the one for this week, you want to lead by example. You never want to ask your organization to do something you're not willing to do yourself. And if you're like me back in the day when I go, I don't have an organization, what difference does it make? And I had someone that cared enough about me to tell me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And so, you know what, Darin, the attitude comes before the team. The attitude comes before the money, not the other way around. if you ever want to have a team, you've got to be willing to do these things anyway, right? So very simple things that are going to compound. And if you hang with us, and 90% of the time, I will bet you're not going to feel like doing any of this. But it doesn't matter, right? When your why and your vision, and you know why you're doing it, man, I'm doing it for my kids, I'm doing it for my spouse, I'm doing it for, whatever. That is the magnet that pulls you forward through that emotional roller coaster. If you haven't feel like quitting, you haven't been in the business long enough, right? So we want to make sure that you're leading by example. You want to make sure that you're doing massive communication. If you have an organization with those people, sharing with them what this can do for them. So taking them through this process, all you're doing is taking them from not knowing about the products to knowing, not knowing about the business to knowing about the business, right? So let's talk about, let me also say this. Here's another thing I had down. How many of you, a lot of times, feel like you're not quite ready to do the activities? Just be honest, right? It's everybody, right? I just need a little more training. I don't know exactly what to say. Here's what you got to do. You just got to do it. You just have to do it. So when there was an insurance company in Georgia that their sales had tanked, this is going to hit some of you right between the eyes in a great way. And then and what happened was they hired this big time consultant to come in, and he found out that they were doing what some of you are doing, and I was really good at doing, which is verbally vomiting all over their prospects. Like, hey, well, what is Green Compass? Oh, let me tell you, blah, right? I know it's a bad visual, but you'll remember that. And so what he did was he goes, okay, this is all you're allowed to say. This is all you're allowed to say for the next so many weeks. You don't want any life insurance, do you? So I went over and I go to Alicia. Hey, Alicia, you don't want any life insurance, do you? Okay. Hey, Kelly, you don't want any life insurance, do you? Hey, Tracy, you don't want any life insurance, do you? Hey, Devin, you don't want any life insurance, do you? And out of so many, they would have one go, well, matter of fact, my wife and I have been talking about it. Like, why do you ask? Oh, well, I have some, I can share it with you. And the sales exploded. Okay, so let me tell you this. If you did this, which let me just tell you, I am not recommending you do this, but I'm just trying to show you how silly it is that we worry about every little word. If you said, hey, look, you don't want to do Green Compass, do you? You don't want any great products with CBD, do you? You don't want a business to be able to work from home, do you? If you said that enough times every day, you're going to have success. I don't recommend that, but stop worrying so much. I'm going to give you what to say with this week's Blitz, but don't worry about it. I would rather have progress, not perfection. Some progress is better than no progress. And if you're getting a little better every day, compounded, my thing was, you know what? I'm going to be bad before I'm good. I just want to hurry up and get it out of the way. I want to fail fast. I want to fail forward. Because what you're going to do is you're going to message somebody and go, okay, I said too much. Plan, do review. A rocket is off track on the way to the moon 97% of the time. Readjust, right? So success loves speed. So I would just say, look, get it out of the way. And the way that you conquer that fear is you just attack it. And when we're giving you the Blitz, and I'm setting you up to have success with the Blitz, how many of you, let me see in the comments, would like to achieve your goals sooner than later? Do you want to go slow or fast? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Slow or fast? Wow, that's coming in fast. Okay, yesterday, fast. Okay, no one's saying slow. Your exposures. What is an exposure? Taking them from not knowing about the products, not knowing about the opportunity, to knowing. It's that simple. Let's don't complicate it. Basics will create that duplication. That's it. Your exposures are your miles per hour in the business. You decide how fast you get there. If we just launched a franchise like the ones that I had, 2 of them, 400,000 in one, 300,000 in another, frozen yogurt, and we're going to do a grand opening next Saturday, how many would you invite? Everyone, because we got so much money tied up. We got a 5-year lease, right? All those things. Do you care if they like yogurt? You really don't care if they like yogurt. You still want them to know, I have it. If you know if anybody wants a birthday party, if you want to do a fundraiser, you may have some grandkids. You're just taking them from not knowing to knowing. That's it. How can they do business with you if you don't have an open sign on your door? They don't even know you have a business. There are people right now that are praying for what your products will do to them, for them, and yet you're not even reaching out. There is no the glass ball where you can take a look and know who's going to be interested and who's not. And then a lot of times it's not who hits them, it's who they know. You have no idea right now who can't sleep tonight, who's crying in their bed because they're driving a nice big old BMW or Mercedes, but they don't have the money to put gas in it. And they're praying for God to send them something, and you've got the answer to their problem. You've got the solution to their problem, and all you've got to know. Let me say, if they're offended because you reach out to them and go, hey, listen, I'm excited about finding a way to be able to supplement my income from home. I don't know if you're open or not, just wanted to reach out. If you're not, no worries, no big deal. If they're upset with that, I don't want to be their friend anyway, right? It's very simple. So you decide exposures, big numbers equal big results. Small numbers equal small results. However, I would rather you be consistent than go gangbusters 2 days and stop. What's the saying? An apple a what? An apple a day keeps a doctor away. Do you know there's truth to that? Like there's all these nutrients in an apple and some of them only work together, and it's a lot of truth to that. Couple things. One, how many people actually eat an apple a day? Most people don't, even though they know that. What's easy to do is easy not to do. The second thing is that the doctor doesn't say, hey, you can wait till Sunday and eat all 7 if you would like. That's fine. Your belly is going to be jacked up, right? It's an apple a day. So I want you consistent, but we're just going to ask you to do 5 days. You can do 7. We're just going to ask you to do 5 each day of what I'm going to share with you. You can do more. Like you don't have to let your minimum be the maximum. But we know once you start doing these things, you're going to realize how simple it is, and you're going to want to do more. And then when you're filling this funnel, think about it. The first week, you put some prospects in that funnel. The second week, you put more. The third week, you did more. Come 90 days, you're going to have so many people in that funnel. There's always going to be customers and advocates coming out the bottom. So this week, we're going to talk about reaching out. I'm going to share with you some things you can say. And it's very simple, but don't worry. Again, don't worry so much about the verbiage. I'm going to give you the basics, but you decide 5 a day, reaching out to people. See, prospecting is you reaching out to them. Attraction marketing is when you're putting the right things on social media, which we can talk about, right? I got a whole training on that, but it's doing the right things to have them reach out to you as well. So you want to learn both of those strategies. We're talking about prospecting, reaching out to someone, letting them know your doors are open, letting them know what you have to offer. And then if it's for them, great. If it's not for them, great. It really doesn't matter. Okay. So how do you reach out to people? Where do you find people? If I ask you right now, what percentage of your Facebook friends have you reached out to? Be honest and let me know. Be honest and let me know. What percentage would you guess? Let me know how many friends you have. Okay, look, 4%, 2%, 20%, 50, 30, 10, 99. Great job. Someone has 5,000 friends. All right, so I switched the question on you. But why wouldn't you let them know? So my thing is, can you reach out to at least 5 a day? And here's some things that you can say. You can find people, first of all, I'd start with your friends. People you know. What if I told you I was going to give you $1,000 for every name, okay, every person you expose from now to the next 5 days? Now, I'm not going to do that, but let's just say I was. How many would you expose? All of them. Every one of them, right? The difference, do you know? It can be worth a lot more than that. A lot more. They're names that led me to massive organizations, massive amounts of volume every single month from one name. And a lot of times it wasn't the one name. It was who that one name led me to. See, you're going, well, this person wouldn't be interested. They would be interested. You don't know. Trust me. I've learned some hard lessons. Where they make money, they're too successful. They're the first ones to see it sometimes. Where they're broke, they're not open-minded. They're the first ones to see it sometimes. And then sometimes it's the duds lead you to the studs and the studettes. It's the links and the leaders. Your job is not to judge. Your job is not to try to figure it out. It's just to share. Take them from not knowing to knowing. So every single person you know as fast as you can, but all I'm asking is 5 a day. Let me know if you're committed. I want corporate, because I know Meredith and Sterling are watching. Can you please put, if you're committed, okay, just say yes, or whatever you want to put, to do the 5 a day the next 5 days. Look at those names. I am so proud of y'all. So I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to move the needle. This company is going to do this, and you're the pioneers. You're the ones that are building that foundation. You're the ones that are going to capture the growth of this company as we take it to the next level. So how do you reach out to people? Everyone you know. Then there's places you can meet people, like there's groups. Are you a part of any groups that have, maybe it's health and wellness, things that would, appeal to the people? Maybe it's a pet group for your CBD pet products. By the way, follow the guidelines, be a good human being. How can you add value? Can you answer questions in those groups and connect with people? There's fan pages, Facebook pages, again, be respectful. Friend suggestions, reaching out to people going, hey, listen, you came up as a friend suggestion. Facebook knows your algorithm. Hey, I'm not sure why they suggested. I'm sure we have some things in common. You can connect with them that way. Instagram, you can find people on Instagram. You can even search hashtags, right, on Instagram. So if you search hashtags, then you can take and comment Gary V, well, I won't go into that, but you can find hashtags that way. LinkedIn, YouTube, that's just a few. But again, there is no excuse for not having 5 people a day, because there's so many places to find people now. People maybe that you've reached out to before that are in play, they hadn't said no, hadn't said yes, and you just touch base with them, go, hey, listen, just touching base, seeing, how you and your family are doing. I hope everybody's, safe and well. I'm reaching out to see how things are going with you, but I'm also curious, are you open to seeing maybe some updates on what I'm doing with the company I shared with you before? It's pretty simple. If you're reaching out to people for the first time, let's say I go, hey, Bethany, hope you and your family are safe and healthy. Hey, listen, my wife and I are excited, about finding a way to make some extra money from home. Just curious if you're open to getting some information on what we're doing. If not, no worries, no big deal. Who's going to get offended at that? By the way, well, I'll give you some things that offend me in just a minute when somebody messages me that I don't know. You could do the indirect approach. You could say, hey, Sarah, hey, do you happen to know of anyone that would be looking to generate some extra income on a part-time, spare time basis with what they're doing from home? Our company is looking for some people. Our company is expanding. Who do you know? Do you happen to know of anyone? The benefits of your product. If you're looking for customers, you can say, hey, Valerie, do you happen to know of anyone that would like to have better sleep, better this, better that? Our company launched some products that are phenomenal. Does that make sense? Because it's straight into the point. It's not chit-chatting around. It's, if you know them, you can have a little rapport. If you know them, you can have a little rapport. But if you don't know them, I'll give you some examples on that as well. If you do know them, you could say something like, man, I can't believe how big your kids have gotten. Your family you're blessed to have a beautiful family. I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know, my wife and I are really excited about a business project we're working on. We found a way to generate extra income from home. We're looking for some other people. I'm not sure if you're open or not. If not, no worries, no big deal. I like to do the no worries, no big deal, either one of those or both. And I learned that from a top money earner. He was a top money earner for decades. He's no longer living, but I watched him for years. And I remember I was in this company for 13 years. He had the same presentation basically the day I joined, 13 years later when I left. And here's what he did. Show 15 minutes, may or may not be interested. So this is back in the day when there was no internet. He go, hey, I got something I want to show you. It'd only take about 15 minutes. And by the way, you may or may not be interested. And he told us, look, you can't mess it up. You could say it in reverse. Hey, you may or may not be interested. It'll only take about 15 minutes. I got something I want to show you. You could put it in the middle. You can't mess it up. So what it did was it let people just take down their guards. Like you're not aggressively attacking them. You're not being a car salesman with that aggressive pitch. It's like, hey, look, can't believe how big your kids have gotten, beautiful family. Hey, the reason I'm reaching out to you, let them know right up front, the reason I'm reaching out to you, you popped in my newsfeed. And my wife and I are excited to find a way to be able to work from home to have more time with our children. I'm not sure if you're open or not, but if you are, I'd like to send you some information. If not, no worries, no big deal. Still want to stay in touch. Simple, direct, to the point. What are they going to say? Hey, nah, I'm not really interested in making some extra money from home, but you planted the seed. No doesn't mean no, it means not now. I have one lady who's a great friend of ours, talked to her loved her job, couldn't wait to go to work, didn't want to go home at night. 6 months later, hated her job, new manager, looking for a way, joined the company, exploded to the top ranks. If I would have forced her to get in when it wasn't the right time, it would have burned a bridge. She wouldn't have been ready later on. She probably would have had no success because the passion wasn't there. I'm not looking to drag people in. If you drag them in, you got to drag them through, right? It's easier to run with 1,000 people than drag one body. You're looking for the lookers. That's what you're doing. No doesn't mean no. It means not now. Now, what if it's someone that, please say his three things. Now, I'm not saying say these 3 things, right? But he would say, got something I want to show you, because back then there was no social media. You still can show them online now. It's only going to take 15 minutes because he had a flip chart. You don't have to do that now. You can point them to a video, right? And then he goes, by the way, you may or may not be interested. I don't know. Very low pressure approach. Very low pressure approach. People that you don't know. I like to find something in common. So let's say, for example, I'm talking to Alicia, and I'm, I look on, I don't know her, but she popped up as a friend. So, oh, by the way, your memories. That's another great way. Look at your memories every day. Hey, Devin, man, memories popped up today, reminded us of, several years ago, we were all at the beach at the same time. Hey, listen, just curious, how things going with you and your family? Well, look, I'm not sure if what I'm doing is for you or not. My wife and I found a way to be able to make some extra money on a part-time, spare-time basis from home. Just curious if you're open. Do you keep your income options open? If not, no worries, no big deal. That's it, right? I'm not saying I'm with the company that started on this date. We have science. Let me tell you about the doctors involved. Let me tell you how it makes you feel. Let me tell you about the comp plan. Man, you're blowing them out of the water. Because remember, 90% of the training is how you bring them on board. Now, if they say yes, what do? Oh, by the way, let me back up. 90% of the training is how you bring them on board. So they're paying attention going, can I do what you did? Do I want to do what you did? Do I have time to do what you did? And do I want to do to my friends, family, and neighbors what you just did to me? If you're a fancy wordsmith and it's this amazing pitch with all these emojis and amazing graphics and white papers, and they're like, I don't have time to do all that. But if you go, well, yeah, hey, I'm open. What do you have? Hey, can I add you? Can I tag you in a video? Yes. Great. Boom. Tagged. Just added. Can you send me a thumbs up once you finish watching the video? Yes. Thumbs up. Awesome. What caught your attention the most? Products, business, or both? What did you like best about what you just saw? Product, business, or both? Very simple. If you didn't reply to me in a couple days, I send you I don't know if y'all say GIF, whatever the heck it is. I would do the one, I think it was, Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey. Are you there? It was like, are you there? And it's looking around like this, and then they would LOL, and they would reply back to me a lot of the times. Very simple. So if I'm finding something in common, a memory, friends, reaching out, those type of, if I don't know you, right, or if you don't know me, let me tell you what aggravates me to no end. People messaging me that don't know me, asking me a bunch of questions, knowing that they're just trying to get around to pitching me. I'm like, get to the point. Who are you? What do you want? Like, that's how I feel. I'm just being honest with you. And especially if you send me a link, right? I have a guy, hey, this will be great for your team, blah, blah, blah. Put me a link. I'm like, hey, you big dummy. I don't have a team. I'm not a distributor anymore. Like, you're prospecting, you don't even have a legit prospect. And I don't even want to message you back, and I don't want to connect with you, right? So you want to keep in mind, what would you feel comfortable with? So if I'm messaging you and I go, hey, Christy, I see that you're a real estate agent. Our company actually, we have some real estate agents that are working with us, generate some extra income with what they're doing and doing great. I'm not sure if you're open or not, but if you are, I'd love to send you some information. If not, no worries, no big deal. I'd still like to stay in touch. I mean, what's offensive about that? I didn't hit you with a link automatically. I said, hey, I see you're in real estate. Are you open? If not, no big deal. That's not threatening. That's not. And then if she goes, well, no, I'm not open. Hey, no worries. Well, tell me what tell me what a good referral is for you, and let's stay in touch. Who knows? I may have some people I could send your way. So then you can start building a little bit of rapport, keeping in touch with them. But I like to get straight to the point. And by the way, I've done both. I've built rapport. I've not built rapport. I've got friends of mine that are trainers that go, you build rapport. Friends that go, no, you don't build rapport. With cold market, it is more effective because it's not duplicatable to teach people how to go create this huge, long stream of the right questions and what do you say when they say this and what do you say when they say that. So I just like to go, hey, look, you know what? I see, Devin, hey, you're in Florida. Our company's actually expanding in Florida. I'm not sure if you're open to making some additional income with what you're doing right now. If not, no big deal. And if he says no, then you can say, hey, well, no worries. If you happen to know of anyone, feel free to connect them with me, right? That's it. It's that simple. Don't complicate it. We talked about the indirect approach. Hope you and your family are doing good. And listen, my wife and I are excited about working our business from home. Do you happen to know of anyone that may want to generate some extra income on a part-time, spare time basis with what they're doing? If not, no big deal, but I figured I would ask. Pretty simple. Now, one more. People that you look up to. I call this, in my mind, the way I remembered it was, you're big and I'm little. When I was bankrupt 21 years ago, and let's say that Colleen is a superstar, wealthy businesswoman here in my area. So she knows I'm bankrupt, and I go to her and go, Colleen, how would you like to make some extra money with what you're doing right now? She's going to laugh me under the table. But if I go to call Colleen and I go, hey, Colleen, you know what? I respect you so much, and so does our community, because of what you've done, the people you've helped, the impact you've made. And I'm excited about something I'm doing, but because I do respect you so much, I would love to get your feedback on what I'm doing. Boom. Who's going to say no? People want to give you their feedback. And then what you're doing is you're using a third party. So you're directing them to the ATM group, or you're directing them to a video. You're the messenger. You're not the message. It's the Hollywood movie pitch. You're the commercial to get them to look at the movie. Don't look at me. I worked at a paint warehouse. I'm bankrupt. I can't feed my kids, but look at this. So you're, well, Darin, what do you know? You work at a paint warehouse. What do you know about the scientific data when it comes to CBD and what it's going to do for you? Don't look at me. All I know is this video does a better job than I do. If you're broke, it's going to hurt you. If you don't use third party, they go, what do you know about making money? You're broke. If your background is a contractor, or a single mom, or a stay-at-home mom, or a construction worker, anything, they're going to go, what do you know about CBD? Like, you work at the paint warehouse, Darin. That's going to hurt you. If you're rich, it's going to hurt you. They're going to go, of course people listen to you. You're rich. You just say do it and they listen. If you're a CBD expert, that can hurt you. Well, of course you're having success. You're a CBD expert. I know nothing. And people know I know nothing about CBD. So when you get them, you reach out, they say, yes, I'm open. Direct them to a third party. Very simple. If they do not reach back out to me, I do the takeaway. Let's say that, for example, Michael, you're right, Michael, they'd love to get their opinion. So let's say Michael, she has not gotten back to me, or she's told me no. Then what I could do is reach back out to her and I could go, hey, Michael, based off of our last conversation, I know what I'm doing is not for you. Hey, but do you happen to know of anyone that may be looking to make some additional income? Because things are exploding in our company. We got so many great things going on. Now, what that may do is fear of loss. I'm going right past her. I'm using some posture. Hey, look, I know what I'm doing is not for you. No worries. It's not for everyone. And by the way, sometimes I even tell people like, hey, I don't know if I'm interested. Hey, you know what? I don't know if you are either. But here's the thing. If you look at it and it's not for you, I will be the first one to say, don't do it because it's not for everyone. They're like, oh, okay. And then sometimes I go, hey, I know it's not for you. They go, wait a minute. You don't know that. It's a little bit of the takeaway. So again, we got the Blitz. So here's what I want to focus on. I know I hit you with a lot of information. The first part was mindset. And you go, Darin, what does it have to do with building a business? Everything. We hit the mindset. We talked about why you do a 90-day Blitz. Or while we're doing 90 days, there's something magical about 90 days. You don't plant seeds today and harvest tomorrow. We're going through the cultivating, the watering process over the next 90 days. Okay, what we're doing is we're preparing for the next season. When you work through the summer, you have a harvest in the fall. If you don't work in the summer, you start over in the fall, and you're starting from behind the starting line. You're not starting with momentum. So a lot of things that you're doing now, you may not see a harvest. It doesn't mean the harvest is not there. It's like the bamboo. They water the bamboo for 5 years, 5 years, and then never comes above the ground. And then it starts growing at like 2 feet a day, or no, 2 feet an hour. It's like 80 feet within a few months or something ridiculous. But if they didn't water it for the 5 years, it didn't just grow 80 feet in those few months. It took the consistent watering over a period of time. So that's why you do 90 days. Right now we have the vision of where we want to be, 90 days from now, going into one of the best seasons of the year for network marketing. Then we talk about, okay, how do we get there? We're going to do simple little things on a weekly basis that everyone can do no matter how busy they are around their busy life, busy schedule. We're teaching you things that are very, you can use your time and your energy and effort, and you're being smart about that. You don't have to use any thinking about, hey, what do I do this week? We're helping you with that. We're going to this week, we're going, look, 5 a day. You don't have to let your minimum be your maximum, but reach out to 5 people a day. I don't care if everyone says no. Doesn't matter. You still had success because you did the activity. Don't let your minimum be your maximum. You can still do all the other things that you want to. And if you get really excited, you can reach out to more people a day. You can do a couple watch parties during the week if you want to. That's fine too. You can add these people to the ATM group, right? We're consistently and persistently moving forward. No matter how excited you got, if that excitement has gone away, you still do it no matter how you feel, knowing your why and your reason, because that helps you stay strong enough long enough. We've given you some things to reach out with people, very simple things, right? Doesn't have to be exact. Like a lot of these things I'm just spitting off my tongue, but if I did it 5 people a day, 10 people a day over the next 5 days, every day you're getting a little bit better. It's like the rocket on the way to the moon that's off 90% of the time, 97%. It continues to readjust and it still makes it to the moon. Every great network marketer was a bad one in the beginning. Every great customer getter in Green Compass, a good one, was a bad one in the beginning. Every great recruiter in your company was a bad one in the beginning, right? It's okay. It's okay. We're learning and growing together. So with that, last commitment is doing the thing we said we would do long after the feeling in which we set it in has passed. Commitment is doing the thing we said we would do long after the feeling in which we set it in has passed. 24 hours from now, this motivation, you may not feel like it, right? But remember, that's why you're doing it. I would recommend, here's my challenge to you. Do 5 when you jump off of here. Do your first 5 as soon as you finish. How many of you committed to doing 5 as soon as you jump off? And then we're going to close it out because I don't want you to waste this excitement, waste this energy. Okay, let's look. Yes, yes, yes. Me, for sure. Let's go. All right. Check this out. That means there's 200 people that are going to go do 5 apiece. That's 1,000 new people that will hear about Green Compass tonight. That's what can happen. And then you compound that over the next several days. And then you go back to your team and you make sure they watch this replay. Maybe we can send this out to the whole company, the link going, you got to hear this, immediately. And what I would do, I don't know how long they're going to keep it up, and you don't either. I don't think you do. So I would say, look, I don't know how long they're going to keep it up, but I know you need to listen to this right away because something just happened tonight that you don't want to miss one single day. So then you get them to watch the replay, and I'd say, message me as soon as you watch it. Is that something that you want to do? You make sure your organization knows about it. You ring the bell, you take inventory, and let's get them moving. So I know we went long tonight, right? Because I did something at the beginning of the training that I wasn't going to do. But I think sometimes we have to slow down to go fast. And it says a lot about each and every one of you, right? That you're staying on this long because successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And you're like, no, I don't care what it takes. Like, this is my year, right? You can't change your life overnight, but you can change the direction of your life overnight. And that's exactly what you're doing. So I'm proud of you for hanging in there longer tonight. I love your positivity. I love the fact that you're committing to this and you're letting everyone know you're committing to this. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Darin. Thank you. Good night.